Indirect speech is an advanced construction, quite possibly one of the most complex constructions there are in Italian. So, what is it and how is it used? When reporting the speech or thoughts of someone else, you might textually cite the words of the person by using quotation marks. This is called Discorso Diretto, or direct speech, but you may choose to cite the contents indirectly after an appropriate verb. In English, this would include phrases like he said, she exclaimed, he shouted, and so forth. This is called discorso indiretto, or indirect speech. We can refer to these verbs as verbs of saying, and they include dire, dichiarare, rispondere, gridare, esclamare, promettere, and so forth. Now, this sort of transformation is relatively simple when the main clause is in the present. Look at the following examples in English and compare them to Italian. Perhaps Uncle Joe says, "Today I am going to the movies." Naturally, this would be, "Oggi vado al cinema." But what if someone wants to report what Uncle Joe has said without quoting him directly? Let's transform this into indirect speech so that we can say, Uncle says that today he is going to the movies. This would be, Lo zio dice che oggi va al cinema. Simple enough, no? Now let's do another one, but add some details. Rosa is going to go to a party. Let's report what she said using direct speech. Rosa dice, "Oggi io vado alla festa e mi metto questo bel vestito nuovo." Now let's say the same thing but with indirect speech. Rosa dice che oggi va alla festa e si mette quel bel vestito nuovo. Now there's a bit to discuss here, so let's examine precisely what's happening. First, the colon and quotation marks disappear as it is no longer a direct quote. Then any first or second person pronouns or verbs become third person. So vado becomes va, and mi metto becomes si mette. Third, questo, or this, becomes quello, or that. And finally, with the present indicative in the main clause, no change of tense occurs in the dependent clause. Now, this still isn't too bad, but things immediately become more complicated when the introductory tense in the main clause changes from present tense to an historical tense. In this case, the verb in the main clause will also need a transformation. Let's first use passato prossimo. So this is when we want to report somebody's words not immediately, but after some time has passed, whether a few hours, a day, a week, a year, or more. Rosa ha detto, ho sonno. So this is not what she is saying right now, it's what she has said in the past. This becomes, Rosa ha detto che aveva sonno. Or we may want to use another historical tense, like the imperfect. Rosa diceva sempre, io cucino molto bene. In the indirect, this becomes, Rosa diceva sempre che lei cucinava molto bene. As you can see here, the switch to an historical tense in the main clause is causing the verb in the dependent clause to modify as well. Io ho becomes lei aveva. Io cucino becomes lei cucinava. Unfortunately, the transformations don't end here. Let's go through several other tenses and pay close attention to the transformations for each. First, future tense becomes past conditional. Rosa ha detto, porterò dei fiori. This becomes, Rosa ha detto che avrebbe portato dei fiori. Passato prossimo becomes trapassato prossimo. Rosa ha detto, ho portato la mia macchina dal meccanico. This will become, Rosa ha detto che aveva portato la sua macchina dal meccanico. Condizionale presente becomes condizionale passato. Rosa ha detto, porterei la macchina dal meccanico. This will become Rosa ha detto che avrebbe portato la macchina dal meccanico. Imperative becomes subjunctive or infinitive, preceded by che. Rosa ha chiesto, portami dei fiori. This will become Rosa ha chiesto che io le portassi dei fiori. This could also be Rosa ha chiesto di portarle dei fiori. Present subjunctive becomes imperfect subjunctive. Rosa ha detto, io penso che lui non venga. This becomes Rosa ha detto che non pensava che lui venisse. Finally, past subjunctive becomes pluperfect subjunctive. Rosa ha detto, temo che loro abbiano sbagliato strada. This becomes, Rosa ha detto che temeva che loro avessero sbagliato strada. This is quite a lot to remember, but one thing we can do is to notice and recall the main changes or modifications which can happen. Io, tu becomes lui, lei. Noi, voi becomes loro. Mio, tuo turns into suo. Questo turns into quello. Nostro, vostro turns into loro. Qui, qua turns into li, là. Adesso, ora turns into allora. Oggi becomes quel giorno. Domani becomes il giorno dopo. Ieri becomes il giorno prima. Let's try just a few more examples to see if it can sink in. In each case, we will show what the person said verbatim and then construct our indirect speech to report what that person said to someone else. Along with the first phrase will be provided in parentheses the verb we are intended to use when constructing the indirect speech. Domani verrò a casa tua alle 5. Ha promesso che il giorno dopo sarebbe venuto a casa mia alle 5. Adesso vorrei un cane anch'io. Ha detto che allora avrebbe voluto un cane anche lui. Ho già pulito la mia camera ieri. Ha esclamato che aveva già pulito la sua camera il giorno prima. Finirò il lavoro domani. Ha promesso che avrebbe finito il lavoro il giorno dopo. Non troviamo le nostre chiavi. Hanno detto che non trovavano le loro chiavi. Oggi noi abbiamo mangiato troppo. Hanno confessato che quel giorno loro avevano mangiato troppo. Vorrei comprare una macchina perché qui non è possibile vivere senza. Ha risposto che avrebbe voluto comprare una macchina perché là non era possibile vivere senza. And with that, we have covered an introduction to indirect speech in Italian. So next time you're walking the streets of Rome and a detective asks you to repeat something you overheard in a cafe, you'll know just what to say.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more tutorials. Support me on Patreon so I can keep making content. And as always, feel free to email me, ProfessorDaveExplains@gmail.com.